"Why take out a mortgage before the wedding? Your apartment is perfect for me," said the groom. "I can't believe my ears," Kat muttered. "We agreed on this, Anthony." "Of course I had to agree. You refused to marry me. You said I wasn't reliable enough. If you really want to, you can always take out a mortgage later." "Grandma was right. I shouldn't have agreed," sighed the bride. Kat had been raised by her grandmother. Her parents were fine, but worked shifts in the north, leaving them unable to care for her. Since childhood, Kat had grown accustomed to their long absences, becoming fiercely independent and distrustful. The only person she fully trusted was her grandmother. "Prudence is everything," Grandma would often say. "Remember, Kat, don't act rashly. Important decisions require a cool head. Why did you push that boy?" Kat frowned. "He's stupid and always teasing. They all tease." "Well, teasing isn't nice. You need to be smarter, Kat." "Should I just stand and endure it?" The anger in her voice was palpable. "Enduring isn't the answer. We need to make sure everyone sees how rude and ill-mannered those boys are. You want them to stop, right?" Kat nodded, tense but determined. "We need a strategy." Grandma raised her finger meaningfully. "It's pointless to push people. They need to be taught a lesson." Taking her grandmother's advice to heart, Kat set a small trap for her tormentors. When they teased her again, she caught the teacher's attention. The bullies quickly calmed down, and Kat realized that staying composed was key. She admired her grandmother, who was an ordinary middle-aged woman yet commanded respect. No one dared to offend her. Shopkeepers didn't shortchange her, lines moved swiftly, and maintenance issues were resolved immediately. It was beautiful. Kat worked hard to embody these qualities. Despite her quick temper, she focused on staying composed. As time passed, she transformed into a sensible young woman, though the effort left her feeling quite anxious. Kat's parents earned a good income, allowing her to have her own apartment. However, she preferred to live with her grandmother, not wanting to leave the elderly woman alone, and found it more comfortable that way. The apartment often sat empty, which made Kat feel a bit guilty. She wanted to rent it out so it wouldn't go unused, but other tasks always seemed to take priority. Occasionally, she needed the apartment herself, for a quiet place to study during exam sessions or to celebrate passing an exam with her classmates. Kat had a boyfriend named Anthony. When he learned about her apartment, he was surprised. But when he realized she rarely used it, he was nearly shocked. "I had no idea you were so wealthy that you had a spare apartment. You seem like an ordinary girl." "I am an ordinary girl," Kat countered. "With your own apartment at your age?" "My parents work a lot," she explained. "My girlfriend is a rich kid," Anthony exclaimed, a mix of amusement and annoyance in his voice. Kat studied him closely. They were out for a walk in the park on a day off, and the date had been going well until she mentioned the apartment. Now the mood had soured. "I'm just an ordinary person," Kat snapped. "You once said you go to Turkey with your family every summer. I've never even traveled abroad. If I'm a rich kid, then who are you?" Anthony pouted, clearly offended. "You could have told me earlier," he muttered after a long silence. "Why should I have to tell you where I live?" "We're dating," he replied. "That's right. You're dating me, not my apartment," Kat shot back, indignant. The conversation left a lingering unease. Kat worried about their argument and considered apologizing just to ease the guilt. For almost a month, she had felt as if Anthony was ready to leave her, and that insecurity gnawed at her. "Do you really like Anthony?" Grandma asked gently. Kat nodded, her expression gloomy. "Prudence is everything. Have you done anything wrong? There are plenty of guys who only pursue girls for their apartments. I know that," Grandma warned. "Grandma. Okay. A young man must prove he's worthy of the lady he loves. Perhaps his male pride is bruised. After all, a man is supposed to bring a woman into his home, not the other way around. But there might be something deeper at play here." No need to rush. It's better to wait and think things through. We'll see what happens." Kat listened without responding. A few days later, Anthony showed up with a bouquet of flowers and an apology. She forgave him, relief flooding through her. Their relationship had lasted a year and a half. Kat completed her studies and started working in her field, but Anthony gradually took up more space in her life. At first, she didn't realize she loved him. Her feelings were strong but lacked the wild passion she had expected. She wanted him to stay with her forever, but was terrified of losing control over her life by trusting him completely. When Anthony proposed, Kat found herself at a loss for words. He interpreted her prolonged silence and smiled crookedly. "Take as much time as you need. I'm not rushing you. I know you can't decide right away." In that moment, it felt as though she could sense his pain as if it were her own. She feared that if she declined, he would walk away. In desperation, she reached out to him. "Wait, it's hard for me to make such a big decision. I want to be sure you're reliable and won't leave me. What if we take out a mortgage together?" Anthony paused, considering her proposal. "We could start paying before the wedding. That way, we'd be equal owners. If it doesn't work out, we wouldn't have to worry about dividing anything." Anthony shook his head in annoyance. As always, the epitome of coldness. "But will you agree to be my wife if I say yes?" Kat looked him straight in the eye and replied, desperation creeping into her voice, "I will." Grandma disapproved, and deep down, Kat felt uncertain about her choice. "Prudence is everything, Kat," Grandma said, shaking her head. "You can't make decisions based solely on your heart. It often leads you astray. You need to listen to your feelings but make decisions with your head. I'm afraid you might end up in tears." "This is Anthony," Kat replied hesitantly. "I was young once too, Kat. I made a decision with my heart instead of my head, and it ended badly. If only I had known how things would turn out." Kat leaned wearily against her grandmother and confessed, "I'm scared, Granny. What if I was wrong about Anthony?" "Well, since it didn't work out with Prudence, sometimes it's better to take action and regret it than to do nothing and regret that for the rest of your life." They decided to postpone the wedding for now. Kat's parents were on duty, and the event needed proper planning. Grandma took on some of the responsibilities, while Kat's mood swung between happiness and anxious contemplation. Anthony remained pleased and calm. As the groom, he finally visited her apartment and seemed to like the cozy space. "Why did you hide this from me? It's a great apartment with quiet neighbors. And the location is perfect, right in the city center, close to the metro and the bus station." "I didn't hide it, Anthony," Kat smiled. "Of course you didn't, kitten. But I was thinking, why take out a mortgage before the wedding? We could wait until afterward and have full joint ownership then." The girl frowned anxiously. "We agreed. We decided it was safer this way." "You decided," the groom corrected her. "You can only set conditions when you receive an offer. We've been together for so long, and you still don't trust me." His reproachful yet instructive tone made her feel even worse. "In a good way, you don't need a mortgage. You already have an apartment. It's mine, and the other one would have been shared. Isn't your apartment good enough for sharing? Let me tell you, kitten, your place is perfect for me. The area is great, just 2 minutes from work. We can live here for a while, and maybe later we'll take out a mortgage." Kat tried to regain her composure. "Anthony, we'll do as we agreed. First the mortgage, then the wedding." "You love me, kitten," Anthony said with a confident grin. "It's either we live in your apartment, or we forget about the wedding." Her heart shattered, and the pain quickly transformed into pure rage. "Do you want to use me? Do you think you can give me ultimatums? If that's the case, get out of here." Kat cried for a long time in her grandmother's loving embrace. She desperately wanted to believe that Anthony loved her, but she was terrified he would leave, only now he really had. She had pushed out her ex-fiancé. After finally deciding to trust, her beloved had betrayed that trust. Maybe it's my fault. I got this apartment and this mortgage. I should have just agreed, she sobbed hopelessly. Absolutely not, Grandma exclaimed, indignant. He was clearly after your apartment. Never give up your own home if you don't want to end up on the street. Anthony isn't like that. He would never, although now I'm not so sure, Kat said. Exactly. Anything can happen in life. For 2 weeks, Kat tossed and turned in her thoughts, until Tuesday, when Anthony showed up with a stunning bouquet. Hello, kitten. Can we talk? He seemed just as cocky and self-assured as ever, and unexpectedly, Kat felt a surge of anger. There's nothing to talk about. Anthony narrowed his eyes in displeasure. What about our wedding? Kitten, we both got carried away. There will be no wedding, Kat snapped. You know why I asked for a mortgage. I'm scared. I tried to trust you, and you ruined everything. How can you marry a man you don't trust? It's over, Anthony. You're overreacting. Kat didn't seem to hear him. We were dating. I thought it was you and me, but it turned out to be you and my apartment. We were on the verge of breaking up when you found out about it, and then everything suddenly seemed wonderful. I should have seen it coming. Anthony glared at her for a long moment, then scoffed. Well, choke on your apartment, you painted cow, before throwing the bouquet in her face. His harsh words brought Kat back to reality. She had previously feared that she had made a mistake and unjustly hurt a good man. Now she was convinced that breaking off the engagement was the right choice. The pain still lingered, but the guilt began to fade, and her fear of having made a mistake dissipated. It felt a little easier. On Sunday, she met her girlfriends at a café. It's good this happened now. Another month, and it would have been time for the quarterly report, Samantha remarked unexpectedly. Kat shuddered at the thought of handling the reporting during such a tumultuous time. There's still too much work, and I have absolutely no strength left. I had to take a short unpaid vacation, she complained. Exactly. You need to take care of yourself, Alex chimed in. Mary nodded in agreement. Samantha glanced around the cafe and suddenly grinned. Take a closer look at the waiter, Kat. We studied together, just in different groups. Remember how he used to pay attention to you? I don't have time for that right now, Kat waved her hand dismissively. Nobody's forcing you. Just talk to him. See how he's doing, Samantha encouraged. You know, it would be nice to have someone new, Mary said with a smile. I was wondering when you'd start dating again, but for some reason, you picked that jerk Anthony. Dating someone just to get over an ex is a really bad idea, Kat frowned. The friends exchanged knowing glances, and Alex spoke up with a teasing tone. Notice that no one mentioned dating. You brought it up first. Kat shot her a playful glare, but couldn't help but laugh. She might not have a fiancé anymore, but she wasn't alone. She had her grandmother, her parents, and her friends. Life went on.